He gave her everything, money, love, and his heart. But when life tested her, she chose comfort over sacrifice and walked away. What she didn't know was that it was all a test, and her own sister would step in to show what true love really looks like. This story will leave you speechless. Michael Johnson was a young, handsome, and generous billionaire. He had everything: money, fame, and success. But above all, his heart belonged to one woman, Juliet. Michael loved Juliet so much, and he truly believed she loved him too. One evening, under the soft glow of candlelight, Michael knelt down on one knee and pulled out a shining diamond ring. "Juliet, will you marry me?" he asked with a big smile. Juliet's eyes filled with tears. "Yes, yes, 1,000,000 times yes," she screamed, hugging him tight. The news of their engagement spread like wildfire across Nigeria's media. Everyone congratulated them. But there was one person who wasn't too happy about the engagement: Michael's father, Mr. Johnson. The next day, he sat with his son and asked seriously, "My son, are you sure Juliet truly loves you?" "Of course, Dad. Juliet is not after my money. She loves me for who I am," Michael replied confidently. Mr. Johnson shook his head. "You are too trusting, my son. You need to test her love. A woman's true heart is known in times of hardship." Michael frowned. "Dad, I don't need to test her. She has already proved her love for me on countless occasions." Mr. Johnson leaned forward. "If you are so sure, then there's no harm in testing the genuineness of her love, right?" Michael hesitated for a moment, then nodded. "Fine, I will do it. But she will pass the test, I am sure of it." Later that week, Michael went to the hospital and spoke to their family doctor. "Doctor, I need your help. I want to fake an accident to see if my fiancée truly loves me," he explained. The doctor, Dr. Toju, was shocked by the request but agreed to help. They wrapped thick bandages around Michael's legs and neck, making him look badly injured. He was placed on a hospital bed with machines beeping around him. When everything was set, Dr. Toju picked up the phone and called Juliet. "Hello, is this Miss Juliet?" he asked. "Yes, I am Juliet. Who is this?" "I am Dr. Toju, calling from Evergreen Hospital. Your fiancé, Mr. Michael, was in a terrible accident. He is in critical condition. Please come immediately." Juliet's heart nearly stopped. "Oh my God. I'm on my way," she cried, grabbing her car keys and rushing out of the house. Within minutes, she arrived at the hospital and ran straight into the emergency room. She gasped when she saw Michael lying on the bed, his legs completely covered in bandages, his neck wrapped tightly. Tears filled her eyes. "Oh my love, what happened?" she sobbed, rushing to his side. Michael opened his eyes weakly and tried to smile. "Juliet, I'm sorry. I don't know if I'll ever walk again," he whispered. Juliet cried even harder. "No, don't say that. You will walk again. I will take care of you, my love." She ran to meet the doctor in his office. "Doctor, please tell me the truth. What is happening to my fiancé?" she asked, her voice shaking. Dr. Toju sighed and shook his head. "Miss Juliet, the accident was very bad. I don't think he will ever walk again. His legs are completely damaged. He sustained high-level fracture injuries." Juliet's whole body felt weak. She held onto a chair for support. No, this can't be happening," she whispered. She left the doctor's office in tears and went straight home. At night, Mama Juliet was preparing dinner when Juliet stormed in, her face full of tears. "Mommy, I don't know what to do. Michael had an accident, and the doctors said he may never walk again," she cried. Her mother's face changed. "What do you mean he can't walk again?" Mama Juliet asked, frowning. Juliet wiped her tears. "Mommy, I love him, but I'm still young. I don't know if I can spend the rest of my life pushing a wheelchair." Mama Juliet sighed. "Juliet, love is not just about enjoying the good times. Marriage is for better or worse." Juliet shook her head. "Mommy, I don't know if I can do this. I'm allergic to suffering." Her mother placed a hand on her chin and thought for a while. Then she said, "You have to be smart about this. Do you want to be tied down to a man who is crippled for the rest of his life? You are too young for this kind of burden. Let's think carefully." Juliet looked at her mother, confused. "Mommy, what do you mean?" Her mother smirked. "We have Vivian in this house, don't we? She can take care of him." Juliet's eyes widened. "You mean Vivian? My half-sister, the one we treat like a maid?" Mama Juliet nodded. "Yes. Since she is always doing all the house chores in this house, let her go to the hospital and continue from there by taking care of Michael. Allow her to suffer for you as she's already used to it." Juliet wiped her tears, and a small smile appeared on her lips. "That's true. Vivian will take care of him. I can't suffer because of love." Mama Juliet smiled. "Good. Now go to bed. Tomorrow we will send Vivian to the hospital." The next morning, Juliet went to the hospital. She looked at Michael with pity, held his hand, and said, "My love, I'm sorry, but I can't take care of you. You deserve someone who can do it better." Michael's heart broke. "Juliet, what are you saying?" Juliet turned her face away. "I have asked Vivian to take care of you. She will be coming to the hospital every day to look after you." Michael's eyes filled with tears. His heart felt like it had been stabbed. Juliet stood up. "I have to go now. Get well soon." She left without looking back. As Michael lay there, tears rolled down his cheeks. He was beginning to see the truth. The woman he loved with all his heart had immediately abandoned him in his weakest moment. 3 days later, Michael was discharged and returned to his grand mansion. He sat in his wheelchair by the wide glass window overlooking the large garden. His heart was heavy, but his mind was clear. Juliet was failing the test. But he wasn't done yet. Vivian, Juliet's half-sister, was now his caretaker. She was quiet, humble, and hardworking, the complete opposite of Juliet. Even though life had never been fair to her, Vivian never complained. Now, she was the one cooking, feeding, and pushing Michael's wheelchair without a single sign of irritation. One afternoon, Michael took his phone and dialed Juliet's number. She answered after a few rings. "Hello, baby," she said sweetly. "Juliet, I need you here at the mansion," Michael said, his voice calm but firm. "For what?" Juliet asked. "I want you to take care of me yourself. I don't want Vivian to do it anymore." Juliet hesitated. Baby, I just got a new job. I don't have time to do all that. Vivian will continue taking care of you. She's already used to it." Michael chuckled bitterly. "Juliet, I am your fiancé. You mean you have no time to take care of the man you want to marry?" Days passed, and Juliet barely visited the mansion. She always had one excuse or another. "I'm so busy at work. I'm tired. I had a meeting today. The traffic was too much. I couldn't come." But while Juliet kept avoiding him, Vivian was the one staying by Michael's side. Every morning, she would wake up early to clean his room, prepare his meals, and help him bathe. She did everything with patience and dedication, never once complaining. She would smile and say, "Sir Michael, your food is ready." In the afternoons, when she pushed him outside for fresh air, she would sit beside him and talk about anything he wanted. Michael noticed how much effort she put into taking care of him. Even when she was tired, she still made sure he was comfortable. One night after dinner, Michael watched Vivian as she cleared the dishes. He could see the sweat on her forehead. "Vivian, come and sit down," he said. Vivian wiped her hands and hesitated. "Sir, I'm fine." "I said sit," Michael repeated. She obeyed, sitting on the couch across from him. "Why are you doing all this?" he asked suddenly. Vivian looked confused. "I don't understand. You are not my fiancé. You don't owe me anything. So why are you taking care of me like this?" Vivian lowered her gaze. "Because I know what it feels like to be abandoned." Michael raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" Vivian took a deep breath. "My mother died when I was 9. My father remarried, and that's how Mama Juliet came into my life. She never treated me like her daughter. I was always the one cleaning, washing, and cooking, while Juliet got everything she wanted. But I never complained. I just did what I had to do." Michael remained silent. He didn't know Vivian had been through so much. Vivian smiled faintly. "I know what it means to be unwanted, and I don't want you to feel that way. That's why I'm here." Michael looked at her closely. Unlike Juliet, who always worried about her own comfort, Vivian was selfless. He took a deep breath. His father had been right all along. Love is not about words, it is about action. Meanwhile, Juliet was busy enjoying her life. Since Michael was now paralyzed, she had started acting like she wasn't engaged anymore. She went out with her friends, partied, and even started entertaining other rich men who were interested in her. One evening, her friend Ada confronted her. "Juliet, why haven't you been going to the mansion to see Michael?" Juliet rolled her eyes. "Ada, I'm too young to waste my life pushing a wheelchair. If I go there often, Michael will expect me to stay. No, I can't do that." "But here's your fiancé," Ada exclaimed. Juliet smirked. "So what? He engaged me when his legs were fine. But now the doctor says he may never walk again. I can't marry a man in a wheelchair. What kind of future will I have with him? Please, Ada, I'm still too young to tie myself to a life like that." Ada sighed deeply, shaking her head. "So the accident is that bad, that he can't walk again? Such a fine man, his life wasted just like that." Juliet exhaled slowly, looking away. "I truly pity him, Ada. Yes, I feel bad. But unfortunately, I can't continue my life with a crippled man. I have dreams, a future. I just can't." Back at the mansion, Michael watched Vivian carefully. He saw how she genuinely cared for him. Another evening, as Vivian pushed his wheelchair towards the garden, he looked up at her and asked, "Vivian, do you ever wish for a better life?" Vivian chuckled softly. "Everyone does, sir. But what if someone offered you a better life? What if someone wanted to take care of you for a change?" Vivian smiled but shook her head. "So, I don't do things for rewards. I'm taking care of you because I want to, not because I expect anything in return." Michael's heart softened. For the first time, he saw true love. Not the kind that came with empty words, but the kind that came with actions. And it wasn't from Juliet, it was from Vivian. Michael knew what he had to do next. Later that evening, Michael sat in his mansion, staring at the garden through the glass window. His mind was heavy with thoughts when his father, Mr. Johnson, walked in. Mr. Johnson looked at his son, still seated in the wheelchair, and shook his head. "Michael, where is your fiancée, the woman that loves you so much?" Michael opened his mouth but couldn't find the right words. His father sighed. Then he suggested the final test. "With this your present condition now, you will go to Juliet's house. Meet Juliet's family and tell them you still want to continue with the marriage procedure. If she accepts, then you will know she truly loves you. But if she turns you down, then you will know she was never yours to begin with." Michael hesitated for a moment. He already knew what would happen. He already had his answers about the test. But he slowly nodded. "All right, Dad. I will go." The next day, Michael was wheeled into Juliet's house. He met Juliet sitting in the living room, scrolling through her phone with a relaxed expression. Papa Juliet was also in the sitting room watching the news, while Mama Juliet was in the kitchen. As soon as Juliet saw him, her face changed, but she quickly forced a smile. "Baby, you didn't tell me you were coming," she said, standing up awkwardly. Michael looked at her and took a deep breath. "I came to tell your family that I am ready to continue with our wedding plans," he said. Juliet's father looked pleased. "Yes, we will continue. That's good news, son. You're a good man, and we support the marriage," he said. But Mama Juliet frowned. Her lips twisted in disapproval as she folded her arms across her chest. Juliet's face turned pale. She swallowed hard, then took a deep breath. "Michael, I can't do this," she finally said. Michael's hands clenched the armrest of his wheelchair. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I can't marry you." "I'm so sorry," Juliet said, looking away. Mama Juliet cleared her throat. "We are sorry, Michael. You will find another woman," she added coldly. Michael felt like his heart had just shattered into 1,000 pieces. He had known the truth all along, but hearing it from Juliet's mouth still cut deeply. Without another word, he turned his wheelchair around and rolled himself out of the house. As he left, Papa Juliet sighed. "Juliet, are you sure about this?" Juliet nodded quickly. "Yes, Daddy. I can't waste my life taking care of a man in a wheelchair. It will drain my youthful energy." Her mother smiled. You made the right decision, my dear. You are still young and beautiful. You will find another wealthy man. 1 month later, Vivian arrived at Michael's mansion with a bowl of fresh soup she had prepared for him. She placed it on the table and smiled. "Sir Michael, I made you something." Michael looked at her, his heart filled with emotions. "Vivian, sit down," he said. Vivian obeyed, looking at him curiously. Is everything all right, sir?" Michael took a deep breath and reached into his pocket. He pulled out a small, beautiful ring. "Vivian, will you marry me?" Vivian's eyes widened. Her hands flew to her mouth in shock. "Sir Michael, are you serious?" Michael smiled. "You have shown me what love really means. You cared for me, stood by me, and treated me with kindness when I had nothing to give in return. And now, I want to give you my heart." Tears welled up in Vivian's eyes. She had never imagined that a man like Michael would ask for her hand in marriage. Yes, I will marry you," she cried, throwing her arms around him. Michael sighed in relief. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly happy. Later that evening, Vivian went home and told Juliet and her mother about the engagement. "Michael proposed to me," Vivian announced happily, "and I accepted." Juliet and her mother exchanged glances before bursting into mocking laughter. "No problem, you have our full support," Juliet said, wiping a fake tear from her eye. Mama, Juliet smirked. "Yes, my dear. Since you are addicted to suffering, go ahead and push his wheelchair for life." Juliet crossed her legs and picked up her phone. "I can't wait to see you in a wedding gown, wheeling your husband around," she said mockingly. Vivian ignored their words and walked to her room. Deep inside, she knew she was making the right choice. Another month passed, and the grand wedding took place. Despite being in a wheelchair, Michael looked elegant in his suit, while Vivian looked breathtaking in her white gown. It was a small but beautiful ceremony attended by close family and friends. Juliet and Mama Juliet didn't bother to attend. They were too busy celebrating Juliet's so-called freedom. After the wedding, Michael and Vivian went on their honeymoon to a luxurious private resort. On their second night, Vivian was arranging their things when she heard a sound behind her. She turned around and gasped. Michael was standing up from his wheelchair. "Vivian," Michael said softly, stretching his legs and taking a step forward. Vivian's heart pounded. "Babe, how? You can walk." Michael smiled. "Yes, babe. I was never truly paralyzed. It was all a test of love." Vivian covered her mouth in shock, tears running down her face. "You mean, you were never really disabled?" Michael shook his head. "No, my love. I needed to see who truly cared for me beyond my wealth. And you, Vivian, you are the only woman who stood by my side." Vivian ran to him, hugging him tightly as tears of joy poured down her cheeks. Michael held her close and whispered, "You are the real queen, babe, and I will spend the rest of my life proving it to you." The next day, Michael drove his sleek black SUV into his father's mansion, his heart full of gratitude. As he stepped out of the car, he adjusted his suit and walked confidently towards the grand entrance. Mr. Johnson was sitting in the large living room, reading a newspaper, when Michael walked in. He looked up, pleased. "Michael, my son, you finally ended the test," his father said with a proud smile. Michael smiled back. "Yes, Dad. And I came here to thank you." His father raised an eyebrow. "Thank me?" Michael sighed and sat down beside him. "Dad, I was blind. I was so sure Juliet loved me, and I never imagined things would end like this. But now, I see clearly. Vivian is gold. She has proven what true love is." His father nodded knowingly. "Son, I know women. That's why I told you to test Juliet. Love is not about sweet words and fake promises. It is about standing by someone through all conditions." Michael took a deep breath. "You were right, Dad. Vivian was there when I was in the wheelchair. She treated me with kindness and respect, not because of my money, but because she truly cared." Mr. Johnson smiled. "That's why she is now your wife. A woman who stands by you in tough times is a woman who deserves to enjoy your good times." Michael stood up and shook his father's hand. "Dad, thank you for opening my eyes." His father patted his shoulder. "I only guided you. But it was up to you to see the truth. And now, you have found real love. The following evening, Michael decided to take Vivian out to a fancy restaurant. The atmosphere was perfect. Vivian wore a stunning red gown, her beauty glowing under the restaurant's warm lights. As they sat laughing and enjoying their meal, someone spotted them. Ada's eyes nearly popped out of her head. "Wait, is that Michael?" she whispered to herself. She blinked rapidly, unable to believe what she was seeing. Michael was walking. Not only that, Vivian looked completely transformed. Her beauty was undeniable. Without wasting a second, Ada grabbed her purse and rushed out of the restaurant straight to Juliet's house. Ada burst into the living room, breathing heavily. "Juliet, you won't believe who I just saw," she said, struggling to catch her breath. Juliet rolled her eyes. "Who?" she asked lazily, still scrolling through her phone. Ada snatched the phone from Juliet's hands so she could listen. "It's Michael and Vivian that I saw," she exclaimed. Juliet frowned. "That's not news. Vivian wheels Michael around the city all the time." Ada shook her head quickly. "No, Juliet. Michael was walking, and he was walking comfortably without any assistance." "What?" she gasped. "Yes, he is perfectly fine. And you won't believe it. Vivian looked stunning. She sat beside Michael like a queen." Juliet stood up immediately. "Are you serious?" Ada nodded. 100% serious. Juliet didn't waste another second. She grabbed her car keys and rushed out of the house, heading straight to Michael's mansion. When Juliet arrived, she rang the bell impatiently. After a few seconds, the door opened, and there stood Vivian. Vivian smiled politely. "Sister, you are welcome. Come in." But Juliet ignored the invitation and folded her arms. "Where is Michael?" Vivian kept smiling. "He has gone to work." Juliet's face twisted in anger. "You are very wicked, Vivian. So you didn't tell me my fiancé was walking again? You wanted to keep it a secret so you could have him all to yourself." Vivian remained calm. "Sister, Michael is my husband now. I didn't hide anything from you. You never even asked about him." Juliet scoffed. "Shut up. You think you've won, right? Let me see how long you will enjoy him." As Juliet turned to leave, she shouted, "And don't ever call me sister again." At that moment, Michael's car pulled into the driveway. As he stepped out, Juliet's heart leaped. Without thinking, she ran to him and hugged him tightly. "Oh baby, I missed you so much. I'm so happy you can walk again." Michael frowned and gently pushed her away. "Juliet, what are you doing here?" Juliet looked up at him, her eyes filled with tears. "Michael, I'm so sorry. I was foolish. I let my mother deceive me. But I swear, I truly love you. Please forgive me." Michael shook his head and sighed. "Juliet, I was never in any accident." Juliet froze. "What?" Michael continued softly. "My father arranged for me to test you, to see if you truly loved me. I was so sure you would prove my dad wrong. But you proved him right. You loved my money, not me." Juliet covered her mouth in shock. "Oh my God." Michael looked straight into her eyes. "Do you remember the day I came to your house and told your family I wanted to continue with the wedding? You rejected me. You said you couldn't waste your life pushing a wheelchair." Juliet fell to her knees. "Michael, please. I didn't know. I was deceived. I love you, I swear." Michael shook his head. "Juliet, please leave my house. I am already married, and not just to anyone, but to your sister, the woman who stood by me when you walked away." Tears streamed down Juliet's face. "No, this is not happening. Michael, please give me one more chance." Michael turned away. "Vivian, please close the door." Vivian stepped forward, and for the first time, she wasn't the quiet, timid half-sister anymore. "Sister, you once laughed at me and said I would suffer for the rest of my life. But now, I have found love and happiness. Please, go home." Juliet wiped her tears and stood up, glaring at Vivian. "You think you have won, don't you? You snatched my fiancé and my happiness. Don't worry, I'll be back." Vivian sighed. "Sister, you lost him yourself." Juliet ran out of the house, tears blurring her vision as she drove back home to face her mother. Juliet stormed into the house, slamming the door behind her. Her heart raced with anger and regret. Her mother, Mama Juliet, was sitting in the living room, sipping tea with a satisfied smile on her face. But as soon as she saw Juliet's expression, she frowned. "What is wrong with you, Juliet? Why are you looking like someone who just saw a ghost?" her mother asked, setting down her cup. Juliet's hands shook with rage. "Mommy, you deceived me. You made me leave Michael. You told me not to marry him because he was paralyzed." Her mother rolled her eyes. "Oh please, what are you talking about? You should be thanking me. Do you know how many rich men are out there?" Juliet pointed a trembling finger at her. "Michael was the best man for me, and I lost him. He was never in an accident. It was all a test, and I failed woefully." Mama Juliet's eyes widened in shock. "What? What do you mean it was a test?" Juliet laughed bitterly. "Exactly what I said. He was never crippled. His father made him test me to see if I truly loved him, and I showed him my true colors. And now Vivian is his wife." Mama Juliet gasped and clutched her chest. "That cannot be. No, it's not possible." Juliet's tears flowed freely. "It is true, Mommy, and it's your fault. You told me to abandon him. And now look, Vivian has taken my place." Mama Juliet stood up in anger. "How dare you blame me? Did I hold your hands and force you to leave him? No, I only advised you. But you chose comfort over sacrifice. You didn't want anything to inconvenience you. You are too keen on your own comfort. You should have used your brain to think for yourself." Juliet wiped her face with her arm. "Mommy, I was foolish to listen to you. I didn't think for myself. And now I've lost the only man that ever truly loved me." Just then, Papa Juliet walked in, carrying his briefcase. He paused at the door and frowned at the heated argument. "What is going on in this house?" he asked, looking from his daughter to his wife. Juliet turned to him, her face red with frustration. "Daddy, Mommy deceived me. She made me leave Michael. And I just found out it was a test. Michael was never in any accident." Papa Juliet sighed and shook his head. "I told you, Juliet. I warned you not to follow your mother's footsteps. But you refused to listen. Now you must live with your choices." Juliet collapsed onto the couch, sobbing bitterly. "Daddy, I regret everything. I should have stood by him. I should have proven my love." Her father sat beside her and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "Juliet, it is too late. Michael is no longer your man. He is married to your sister, and you must respect that." Juliet looked up at him, her face full of pain. "Daddy, what do I do?" Her father exhaled deeply. "Move on. Forget about Michael. He is happy now. Don't disturb him." Juliet swallowed hard and nodded, but deep inside she knew she would never forgive herself. As she sat in regret, her mother sat quietly beside her, looking just as defeated. For the first time in a long while, Mama Juliet realized that her own greed and selfishness had destroyed her daughter's future. But there was nothing they could do. Michael was gone, and he wasn't coming back. A few months later, life for Michael and Vivian was beautiful. Vivian stood in front of the mirror in their bedroom, her hands resting on her slightly swollen belly. She smiled as she rubbed her stomach gently. She was pregnant. Michael walked up behind her and wrapped his arms around her waist, placing his hands over hers on her belly. "My queen, our little one is growing well," he whispered, kissing her cheek. Vivian giggled. "Yes, my love. Soon we will hear the cries of our baby." Michael turned her around and looked deep into her eyes. "Babe, you are the best thing that ever happened to me. You showed me true love, and I promise to love you and our baby forever." Vivian smiled as happy tears filled her eyes. "And I will stand by you forever, my love." Michael kissed her forehead, holding her tightly. As they stood in each other's arms, a deep sense of peace, joy, and fulfillment filled their hearts. Michael had made the right choice. Juliet had lost everything because of greed and pride, but Vivian had gained everything because of love, kindness, and patience. And so, they lived happily ever after.
Did you enjoy this story? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel, so you don't miss the next powerful story. Your support means so much. Thank you for watching.